Welcome back to the FlairBar.com show, live Tales of the Cocktail 2011 New Orleans in the FlairBar.com studio. Old friend Anthony Alba Paisan. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic, my friend. How are you?
Better now that you're here. Welcome to the event. Dude, you're a familiar face in a sea of bartenders, and it's good to see you.
That's always a pleasure.
And this is your, what, fourth year at Tales of the Cocktail?
Fourth year, yeah.
And what is your overall thoughts of Tales of the Cocktail 2011?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of enjoyment of it. Been a lot of work, a lot of prep, a lot of running around crazy. But you know, it's growing. I think it's growing in a good way. I hope it keeps its good momentum forward. And it's really hard to gauge. I like it seeing all sorts of new faces and old faces, and you have a lot more of an audience now that seems to be less about like the stuffiness and more about a new idea. Let me listen, as opposed to, hey, that's a new idea, but I don't like it, so it must be wrong. Big difference in that.
No, that's encouraging to hear, and we're finding that where a lot of people are comparing it to where a lot of the pretentiousness and egos are starting to drop, which is good to hear that everyone's kind of saying that right now.
And it's necessary for this industry to grow. For all soul to grow, we can't have an ego.
And for all of us to work together. Agree, 100%. Now, out of everything you've seen so far at Tales of the Cocktail, I know you've been busy. From what you did see, what is your favorite event, seminar, tasting, thing that you've seen here or experienced the most so far that you liked?
Rob, honestly with you, I didn't go to anything that I didn't work. So we did the tasting room today, we did the bar brawl yesterday, and it was a madhouse. I mean, I've been in my room cooking, reducing stuff on the patio where the pool deck was. I got pots and burners and people looking at me crazy and getting drunk off the fumes and spraying liquid nitrogen everywhere, and I haven't been able to do anything.
Nice. Well, tell us about the event that you did today, and who was it sponsored by, what was it all about?
Okay. Well, it was a tasting room by Corner Brands. Basically, it's a food service company that has all the ingredients for molecular gastronomy and a lot of the high-end stuff, equipment, tools, and it's all geared towards chefs. Now, there's such a similarity, obviously, in the food and beverage world, where there's a lot of crossover in addition to that, and this, Tim, which is the owner of it, saw value in that, and contacted Patricia Richards from Las Vegas and myself, and what we did is we put together a tasting demo. It was a progression of what molecular mixology, kind of the simple parts of it, kind of the forward thinking, and the weird and wacky, which you and Josh were absolutely necessary to knock that out. By the way, these guys came in to taste, and I had to put in work immediately. And you know me, if you've ever been in a bar where I'm busy, I will hand you a shaker and have you shake that and strain it out. These guys came through in a big way. Thank you again, Josh, behind the camera. And Rob, really, you guys made it happen.
We were just honored to be a part of it. We're a huge fan of what you do, and you've always helped us with it. Mixology Matters and other events, and any way we can help. We're all one big family, like you said.
Absolutely, brother, absolutely.
So we're talking about molecular mixology. We're talking about the different components, and what exactly, for our audience at home, is molecular mixology?
You know, that's a question that I'm trying to find the answer out to. Some people say molecular mixology might be something as simple as a Jello shot. Now, if that's the truth, then it's been around since what, 70s?
Since I was probably born.
So yeah, the 60s.
Yeah, since mom and dad got
together
because of Jello shots.
Jello shots. You know, thank God for Jello shots, because Rob's here sitting with us today. But you know, molecular mixology, molecular gastronomy, changing the textures, the weights. You can even try to take this back to what distillation is in its inherent nature, and then take that back a step further in fermentation. So, I mean, molecular mixology might theoretically have been around since the dawn of yeast as a bacteria, which is millions and millions and millions of years. So, I mean, that's just one theory. You know, anything that's kind of off the wall, something that I don't even know how to describe it. I think your own. This is one of those things to where maybe your own definition might be what the truth is. So. Yeah,
and if not, just I'm sure it's on Wikipedia or the internet, so it's got to be true.
Well, I wonder what it is on Wikipedia. Find it out, man. Check it out. Let's get some more information on there.
Actually, hang on a second. Just got a text from Josh Gates asking. We got a phone-in question asking, in your opinion. Let me read this right. In your opinion, with molecular gastronomy kind of on the outskirts going down, what do you think is the future of molecular mixology? Good question, Josh.
That's a good question. Well, and this goes back to a conversation we were having with Dean. It was 4 in the morning, and after you know, these philosophication of conversations. But no, I think like anything else, when it's designed by somebody, it's great, and it's usually not what it's going to be because it needs to settle out and it needs to grow organically. Now, molecular gastronomy's done that. It's you know, the way the planet works, for who knows how long, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, the beverage trends will follow the food trends. So understanding that and looking at it and saying, well, molecular gastronomy's fallen off, but it has settled into a place to where it's not gone, and goes back to exactly what we're talking about with the flair, you know, and the mixology and all this other kind of stuff. I think molecular mixology will follow that same trend. It'll find its place. There's a lot of interest in it now. I don't know how long the interest will be, but at some point we're going to be higher and more progressive than when we started this experiment of molecular mixology. So it's going to, we might be at the peak now, but it's going to, that bubble's going to burst, and when it does, it will settle out, and it's just going to grow like its destiny is going to make it grow.
Well, I'm excited that it's still going to be there, and excited that you're still a fan of it, because when I look for molecular mixology, I want to see what's new techniques. I come to you, and speaking of which, what's new in molecular mixology that you're playing around with right now? Any secrets?
Any secrets? Yeah, it's the
exact subtitles for this.
Yeah, subtitles. No, you know, there's always been a lack of education in the beverage world, you know, overall. Now, not saying that in a bad way, because where did we all learn from? Where'd you learn how to bartend? Where'd you learn how to do this? Where'd you learn how to do that? And that being said, molecular mixology techniques, one thing that I'm seeing happen now, which is a good thing, is people are understanding what's going on. This goes back to Mixology Matters 2 years ago, in 09. You know, talking about something simple as a foam. You know, there's a lot of people doing it. You can slap a couple different ingredients in there, and it will kind of work, sure, and it might work for your purposes, but do you understand what's happening? That is, I was screaming top of my lungs a couple years ago, and now it seems like people are like, okay, well, what is an emulsifier and what does it do now? What about a pH level? How am I going to gauge that? Original gravity means what? Okay, density. So, ironically enough, I think kind of one of the new trends in the future, and the immediate future at least, is going to be understanding what the basics are, which is actually a reversion of what it is. Now, as far as techniques and tools, right here, I got a cryo sprayer, and that has liquid nitrogen in it. So,
is it safe to touch?
No, yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's just, it might blow up your hand, but it's okay. It's your hand.
Yeah, it's my hand.
Actually, no, don't touch that.
Okay, see, I'm already messing up.
So you gotta squirt that.
Nice.
So this is just one thing that you could, you're literally spraying liquid nitrogen on top of whatever it might be. Now this comes from the medical industry, and luckily enough, it's a lot of the same things that are required for the medical industry as far as food grade. It generally falls within the envelope, so still safe on the stainless steel and capacity range, and you know the way that it's humid out here, and it's all this moisture's here, but like this is safe to touch all day long. It has to be for doctors and nurses and crazy patients that get it, and whatever it might be.
What do you use it for?
Well, what I was using it for this time, I was in a demo, is I was designing to, one of the cocktails was a solid, and to be able to spray this on the outer of a Sauvignon mixed with a Pirate XL rum, and blast it actually with a caramel spray, so it'll be cold and hot, type of thing. So
your cocktail, and I do want to call it a cocktail, was incredible because it was 3 different spirits. It would have been 3 different temperatures and 3 different textures at least. And it was a whole pleasurable experience in your mouth, and it was really great to see that done, executed in high volume.
And again, the only reason we could execute in high volume, and I'm going to say this not because I'm going to kiss your rum, but these guys really made that happen. Honestly, man, without you guys showing when you did, it would have been a bust.
I disagree, but thank you. I think you had the mise en place and everything set in place, and you're very meticulous and you're professional at what you do. And if, speaking of professional, if someone wants to hire you for their event, corporate, anything, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, the best way of doing it is just you can either Facebook, you know, Anthony Alba, Las Vegas, you can find me in there. You can even Google the same thing, you'll be able to find the same results. Anthony at liquidityglobal.com. It's the best way of getting the email address. I'm sure that's going to be in the letters in the but right there. No. So
nice. Okay, and also something that's which you're a big advocate of, and I'm a huge fan of, also the USBG, the United States Bartenders Guild. So what is your involvement with that, and tell all our fans what exactly is the USBG?
Okay. Well, basically, the USBG is it's a fraternity of like-minded bartenders. You know, we all seek to see the same thing, and that would be to raise the level of awareness and the professionalism of the craft. You know, every aspect of the bar has its place. You know, the shot and beer biker bar, or the high-end mixology lounge. What doesn't really have a place anywhere is the arrogance and the lack of service and the lack of professionalism. Just because you want to work at a shot and beer bar doesn't mean that you're not professional in that particular respect. Should you be making handcrafted cocktails when people are drinking whiskey room temperature and
PBR cans?
Exactly, and that's valuable because that venue serves a very real purpose and a good purpose. No, you should stay the hell away from cocktails there because it's all about the guest and understanding that dynamic. Now, with the USBG, what we try to do is we try to understand what the philosophy is behind it, and do things in a good way. We give a lot back. It's all non-profit. It's been around since '61, so it's one of the older non-profits actually on the books. So we started a program called the Master Accreditation Program. So this is the second year that it's running, and that's designed to get rid of the bartender that wins a mail-in submission competition one day, and then he's now a master mixologist the next.
You got a name tag and everything to prove it.
Exactly, yeah. So that the Master Accreditation Program is mirrored after as far as the way it's tested in tier levels of the Quartermaster Sommelier. So you can legally call yourself whatever you want, but then again, too, if there's no credibility behind it, doesn't mean anything. So you can call yourself, a master, super duper uber sommelier, but let's look at it realistically. If you don't have that accreditation, then nobody's going to take you serious. We're trying to do the same thing with bar. So basically, it's the first tier level is spirits professional, right? It's a written test. Second would be a advanced bartender, which is another written part of the test, and then it's also a physical part of it. And I'm saying this kind of lightly, but let me tell you the way these things are. It is very, very, very tough, very tough. And the third part is a thesis base, and that was for the title of Master Mixologist. Now, the theory behind that would be something simple as if you pick a given subject in the beverage industry, and there should be pre-Rob, as far as everybody, the whole planet thinks about something, and there should be post-Rob. So once this thesis comes out, it should change the way everybody looks at whatever subject you picked. And if you can do that right, I don't think there's anybody that can argue that you wouldn't be a master in whatever that craft is. So.
And could we be safe to say what your thesis is going to be on?
My thesis, no, I've got a few. I might write 3 or 4 just because I'm that kind of guy.
He's got plenty of time on his hand.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, if I have more time, I'll write more for brother.
Yeah. When he's not using the Rubik's Cube, he's typing.
Exactly. Well, I can do it with one hand on top of the other,
That's why I thought you were doing the whole interview this time with it. This is great. Now let me ask you this, and it's funny you say that because I agree with 100% what you said. I'm not going to say who, but we were just talking at a recent event here at Tales, and they were asking us, what we do this, and Josh and I, we're bartenders. Like, no, you're a mixologist. Like, no, we're bartenders. We're like, no, you're a mixologist. It sounds sexier. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. What's to say? Who's to say? What's to say? I'm a bartender, and I agree. It doesn't matter. But it's great to see that you giving an accreditation. You're actually saying we're at this level. You're at this level. You're at this level, and we can prove it. And here's why.
Exactly. The mixologist title is, if you look at the word and break it down, it's the study or the science of mixing drinks. Now, that's got nothing to do with serving drinks. It's got nothing to do with working at a place. Science is all about theories and running experiments and having controls, and that has got really nothing to do with a better version of a bartender. You could be a good bartender, you can be a crappy bartender. The accreditation, the second tier level test, is an advanced bartender. If you can pass this test, you are one hell of a bartender. That is what's behind it. Now, we all do a lot of different things nowadays. You bartend, you are a mixologist sometimes, you are, like right now is a great example, you're a host. Why would you have any other title? We do so many different things. Me being a consultant, I do things like, I do bartend special events. I like this whole last 3 weeks leading up to this has been about mixology because I've been researching and running experiments and developing recipes. And I mean recipes that have to have things to do with, okay, well, what do I need to do and dig deep on this kind of stuff, not just like, oh, yeah, this goes together and that goes together and it tastes great. If you do that, you're more of a creative, bar chef maybe might be a good title for something like that, but unless you're serving drinks, you're not really a bartender. Unless you're digging for the answers of the mysteries of the beverage world, you're not really a mixologist. And that's just the way things are. It's really not up to interpretation.
I agree 100%. And what we're going to do now is we're going to come back to break. When we come back from break, do you mind making us a cocktail using maybe some molecular mixology?
Yeah, I think I can make that happen.
I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited.
He's excited.
We'll be back right after this.